It's the Stack Attack Fantasy Podcast, your one-stop shop to dominate fantasy baseball and football. Come get some.
Yo, baby, yo, here we go. Let's start the show. It's the Stack Attack Fantasy Podcast, DFS edition, week 3. With me, as always, is my brother from another mother. It's Trader Andy, ladies and gents.
What's up,
going on, man? How you doing?
Not much, man. What are you up to?
Not too much, man. Let's get right into this. No fancy stuff with DFS, but let's just pay homage to our little buddy, and put that scroll on the bottom for it. We got next week coming up. Here it is. We got the Rally for Reed, REED, coming up next weekend. So please, guys, if you can, take a look back. About 3 episodes ago, we talked about this young man and his family and how they can really use our support. So please, at hello, my name is Reed, REED, on Venmo. Let's give it a shot. All right, brother. So let's talk some DFS. Last week, they trolled us pretty hard on this show. We had some people in the chat group that were, called us morons and everything. And then all we did was turn around and smash the whole week. So they wanted to see some credentials. There you go.
Right here. Here's credentials for you right there.
Dinos baseball.
Remember that? Yep. I think we cashed in DFS Korean baseball like 19 days in a row or something like that. and we were just giving up these crap lines, and they kept on winning every single day. And just bought us hats because we just won so much money. So there's credentials.
You should have told me, man. I would have got mine out, but
no, I don't want to do that, man.
I don't know. I don't look good in hats. Got to get the shine going. All right, we always start with stacks. So let's talk about your favorite stacks this week. What jumps out at you?
Well, there's 3 huge games that obviously are going to have a lot of people jumping in there with 54.5 points or higher. There's 3 games there. So obviously people are going to be jumping on there. Love the Rams this week. Obviously, that's my team every single week. The Cardinals have been amazing as well. So, there's a lot of different ways to go. Which one do you think is your favorite one out of all of them?
You could game stack Seattle, Minnesota quite easily, and they all shape up pretty well. Minnesota, there's 2 ways to go. You could add Thielen, you could add J. Jeff, you could run it back with Metcalf or with Lockett. It always works, and likewise with Russ Wilson. So you could do that one anyway. That'll probably be the most popular with a 55 total game. But my favorite sneaky stack, and we're not going to get into the details of it because as we go player by player for our cash and GPP plays by position, we'll kind of cover that one quite a bit.
I want to hold my ears when you say it. Go ahead, say it.
It's the Giants, man. I love the Giants stack this week, and it's sneaky. If I remember correctly, the total on the game is 43.5, and there's a way to run it back with Atlanta in one direction that I really, really like. So that's going to be my single entry smash spot for the week. It'll be the Giants with a run back of Kyle Pitts. So we'll talk about that more as we get going on. All right, let's start with quarterback. Who stands out to you this week?
I think the guy in the top of the list stands out to me really high is Murray. He's killed it the past 2 weeks. He was number 1 quarterback on the board both 2 weeks. He's going into another great spot again. It's tough not to play him, but I might try to be too cute and pay down a little bit. So we'll see what happens.
All right. So now if D Hop is active and it's a 1:00 game, so we'll know early if he's going to be or not, will that improve your view on him, or we're in either way?
He has a lot of weapons. It doesn't really matter. I think, if he doesn't play, then Rondell Moore becomes a must play on all tournaments and GPPs, and he becomes the free square that's going to get fed all game long. But we'll see what happens.
All right. So if you're going to pay down, what direction are you going to go?
Well, there's a couple spots. I hate to say this out loud, especially with certain people upstairs listening to me, but Daniel Jones is the guy that I really like this week, and I was telling you about. And then you just told me that you love the Giants stack as well. Jones is in a killer spot. He's a couple grand less than than Murray, and it's just he's putting up 25 points. You're going to get almost 5 times on him right there, so it could be a good spot to go.
All right. I personally think that if you're not really into Kyler, you could downshift about $500 to Lamar. Detroit is pretty terrible, and last year we saw that anytime Lamar has stomach problems, he kind of comes through. So we could definitely take that narrative on. Herbert's in a good spot. We mentioned Russell Wilson already.
Tom Brady. And
Brady's always in play, man. We don't have to say that, really, to be honest with you.
He's got 2 weeks in a row, 30-plus points, and he's like 1,700 less than Murray already.
Yep. A sneaky play, if he ends up being active, is Carson Wentz at only $5,700. Tennessee was 30th in DVOA against the pass in 2020, and they're off to another horrible start this year as well. So there's an opportunity for him to pop off there. You got Justin Fields in his first NFL start, $5,200. I mean, we don't really need that much from him to pay off for cash. 3x would only be 16 fantasy points, and don't do this. It's a horrible GPP flyer, but Jacoby Brissett at only $4,900 against the Raiders.
That brisket's overdone.
Yeah. All right. So your cash guy's probably Daniel Jones either way. Do you think so?
I'm thinking Daniel Jones. Yep.
Yeah, I think I might be with you there with the sprinkle of Lamar for me as well. All right, let's go on to the running back position, and let's start up top. It's kind of a scary week for the top end running backs with no CMC on the slate. What do you think up top?
I think it's a fade. I think you have to fade for Henry to make the money there and be of value, he's really high priced, and I don't trust it. I think there's better plays down below, and not to spend the money there.
All right.
What do you think?
Yeah, of course, I agree with you on there, and I'm a Henry guy. I'm just not doing it this week. Kamara, the thing I think about Kamara is you have to be careful. This early, you don't know if you should start using 2021 data or look at 2020. It's kind of a gray area. What data is really valuable to you? And New England was so bad against the run last year, but you remember they had like 6 opt-outs on their defense last year, and I just think they're a different team this year. I can't trust Kamara, but if you look at the DVOA against running backs, New England was last year. I don't think that's going to repeat itself. So I think Kamara is kind of going to be a chalky, a little bit of a trap spot. I'm interested in what happens with Dalvin Cook at 8,400. Seattle has been terrible against the run this year, but he's kind of a game time decision with an ankle. And the last time I saw this situation, I had a chance to become your rich friend, and I missed it because I started Alexander Mattison in a smash spot instead of Derrick Henry last year in one lineup. And if it was Henry, I would have taken down a big GPP and won quite a few ducats. So I'm a little scared of Dalvin Cook.
Fade.
Yeah, and I don't even think I could do Madison at that point. I mean, even at $6,000, I think there's better plays than Madison that you could look at. But the guy on the high end I really like is Eckler. He's in a smash spot.
I was just about to tell you that's my highest rated running back out of the high end guys.
Yeah, it's $7,200. On DK where you get the bonus, full PPR and the bonus at 100 yards against Kansas City where they're going to be throwing the ball all day long. It's a smash spot. I think he's a lock button for me in cash this week over any of the other high-end running backs for me. But moving down a little bit, we started talking about the Giants.
Oh, jeez.
Saquon Barkley at 6,500 is that's disrespectful pricing, man. It's disrespectful. Atlanta is horrible against pass catching running backs. This is a smash spot for him. You have to do it. And I think once we get into the wide receiver slate, you're going to see why it's okay to go Eckler and Saquon in the same lineup and spend that $13,000 there.
Yeah, I'm with you there, and I hate to say it.
All right. I'm kind of interested in what's going on with Darrell Henderson. If he doesn't play, Sony Michel, $4,900. I mean, is that something that we could do? It's really his first start of the year. Are we going to get 15 points out of him?
I would say no.
No. Anyone else? I mean, you could go $100 less and go to CEH at $4,800 against the Chargers. I know he's only gone for 3 points and 10 points on DK in the last 2 weeks, so it's kind of scary. But the Chargers have got gashed by Antonio Gibson and then last week by the combo of Pollard and Zeke. So I think that there's a good chance for CEH to get the rock this week and take it to that 3X in cash.
So what do you think about Javonte Williams? 4,900, same price point as Sony Michel. The Jets can't cover a running back. He looked like he was coming into his own last week.
It's just a matter of timeshare, and is he going to get the rock or is he going to be splitting? How much is Melvin Gordon going to interfere? That kind of scares me in cash. That's a good GPP play for me.
Yeah. And what about Michael Carter? That's the only time I'm going to mention the Jets today.
It's just bad game. It's bad game script, man. They're going to get smoked. They're like a 10.5 point underdog.
And what's going on? What's going on, Wilson?
What's that?
What's going on, Wilson? They're going to make him make easy passes, which Carter is the best receiving back in the thing. Tevin Coleman's out. Ty Johnson's the only other thing there, so I think he's going to get a lot more touches, and he could be getting dumped off and getting all these catches.
Okay, all right.
4,500.
Yeah, I also mean
46.
I kind of glanced over Mike Davis a little bit against the Giants. Good potential run back. $5,100, I think. Last week he was kind of quiet, but he had 7 catches. So, I mean, that's basically a free touchdown in PPR formats. Yeah, he fits nicely with that stack. I kind of like going against that. I do like Pitts later on, but I think, and the Giants are always really bad against pass catching running backs. Always have been, like every year. And Davis is pretty good in that role. So let's check that out too. So, all right. So you're building a cash game lineup so far. So who's your cash running back that you're looking at?
Well, after talking to you, I might have to consider going Kyler Murray and then Eckler and Saquon.
Yeah, that's getting expensive. It's getting a little expensive.
Well, we're gonna make that money up in wide receiver because there's plenty of value out there that I absolutely love. So, but it is getting expensive. You're right.
Okay. All right. So let's start talking about some wide receivers. Anything up top that really interests you, or you want to start from the bottom?
Well, I think that Hopkins, if he plays, I just might actually fade him just because.
Oh, really?
He hasn't played all week. He hasn't practiced, and all he has to do is one injury, and then he's out. So obviously, I would take the cheaper guy in Rondell Moore in that area. Obviously, Tyreek Hill is obviously an option, playing in a huge game with Mahomes. So
he's matchup proof. So
yeah,
and he was quiet last week, and there's that squeaky wheel narrative that he might just. Tyreek, let's go. We got to fix this. We broken last week. Let's fix it.
Just a lot of options. You got both guys in Seattle, and both guys in LA for the Rams. So,
all right. So let's talk about that a little bit. I just said with Tyreek with the squeaky wheel. Do you think that Metcalf might be that guy this week, or they're just going to say hey, it hasn't happened yet this year, so let's force it this time? In this matchup against Minnesota last year, 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. So maybe that's a good spot for him right there. It is kind of hard because he's the exact same price as Lockett. I think Lockett's $100 more. So you are kind of walking yourself into something there. And I heard something with Metcalf this week that he was talking saying all the right things, like, oh, I'm just got to continue working hard, the results will come and all that. Just sounded like he was on top of things. And they're just traditionally really, really bad against downfield wide receivers. So Metcalf's that kind of guy. He just runs straight, muscles through it. I think he's the Seattle guy to go with this week.
All right.
But what about, you mentioned LA, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Are you playing both of them?
In different lineups, yeah. I want to get a piece of both of them. I think I'm going to avoid the running back mess. I'm going to avoid my boy Higbee, and I'm just going to focus on Kupp and Woods. I might actually do like a little stack with Stafford, Woods, and Kupp.
Yeah, why not? Well, here's the thing is Cooper Kupp is in a smash spot, and right now he is the hottest name in DFS because he's been on fire the first 2 weeks. Ross Cockrell has 146 rating against in the slot, so he's going to get eaten up by Cooper Kupp, but everybody is going to be on him. I mean, he's literally going to be 45-50% owned in cash because he was in the high 30s last week and had a great week. But like you said, Robert Woods last year in this matchup, 12 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown. So
different quarterback, obviously. You have to think about that, but he's also $1,100 cheaper than Kupp as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, but here's my concern. So you're saying you're going to play Woods in some spots. Sterling Shepard's 5,900, Claypool is 5,800, and Woods is 5,800. So what are you doing with that? Because I know those are three players that you really like.
Just building a lot of lineups. As soon as we get up here, I'm going upstairs and I'm going to start building.
So those guys, all three of them are highly cash viable, right?
And those aren't even my favorite one.
Right. So talk through it real quick. Why is Shepard such an easy cash play at 5,900?
Look at what he's done with Jones. He's been consistent last year as well. He's having double-digit targets. He's just a lock for points. He's still too cheap. He should be in the sixes, but he's not. And probably next week he will be. So enjoy the discount you're going to get this week. We feel that the Giants are going to smash here. I can't believe I'm saying that on air, but that's a spot to go in. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. No, wait, I'm not that dumb. Sorry, not Evan Ingram. I'm not that drunk yet, but go ahead.
But see, dude, that's the beauty of DFS is that on a given week, you could have a different opinion than you do the rest of the year. You could love a player 16 weeks and hate them once, and vice versa, man. And that's the best part about it. So we love the Giants this week. I'm not necessarily saying I think they're going to win the game, but I love the potential for the output, man. It's there.
I got one more guy in that mid.
Well, no, we're not done. We're not done yet because we Claypool at $5,800. We didn't talk about the Pittsburgh side of the ball. There's things going on there with Deontay Johnson out, right?
Yeah, he's out. So I think Claypool's going to get more looks. The team has been horrible. So I think Ben's going to start trying to throw the ball if he's healthy. And Claypool's going to in a spot to smash.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to play Juju also at 6,000. So
absolutely,
either one, 6,000 for Juju, 5,800 for Claypool. I'm in on both. Build more lineups, like you said. You said you had another receiver. Talk to me. I got a couple more.
Well, in the same situation though, I like the Chris Godwin's part, and Mike Evans you could still play as well. With no Antonio Brown, I feel Godwin is in a smash pot. Brady always puts up points during a huge over/under. I think he's in a great spot at 6,100.
All right, great. I'll give you one in the same game at $3,100. Scotty Miller, take a shot.
$3,100.
$3,100. He's going to get an opportunity to be on the field without Antonio Brown, and he just has a penchant for hitting the deep one with Brady last year. Man, it happened a couple times.
So I'll bring up my Scotty Miller. You ready?
Yeah, bring it.
I want to bring another Jet up, but Braxton Berrios.
Yeah, I picked him up in a couple dinos.
I mean, seriously, he reminds me of Wayne Corbett.
Really?
Solid. He's got great hands. He does play smart football. They trust him running back punt returns, and he has a lot of looks from his rookie quarterback.
All right. I wanted to talk a little bit about Marquise Brown, man. Hollywood. Detroit is horrible against wide receiver ones, so kind of in a pretty good spot here. We mentioned Lamar earlier, so you're feeling good about Marquise Brown. A little bit more expensive than where we're at right now at $5,600. What do you think?
There's still a questionable sign by him, right?
Yeah, but he's
been
every questionable every week, and
yeah.
he keeps coming out, man. Looking good.
Yeah.
A little bit higher also. The Colts are absolutely terrible against the pass, 11.6 yards per target. You got A.J. Brown and Julio Jones at only $6,500. These are guys that, you don't have to pay $8,000 for a top receiver this week, especially since Hopkins is a little sketchy. The only one I really feel good about up top is Diggs at I think he's 7,600. You could drop down and you're getting a wide receiver one with Cooper Kupp at 6,800, and then one of these guys from Tennessee at 65. I mean, you're in pretty good shape to build that rest of that lineup that you talked about earlier.
Adam Thielen's in a good spot too, 6,700.
Yeah, absolutely. What about Cincinnati? They're in a similar situation as Pittsburgh with T. Higgins is out.
Well, my best guy, my favorite guy of the week in my top four guys that plays of the week will be Tyler Boyd.
Yeah.
He's like 4,700. He's got no T. Higgins. He's had a really good game last week, made value with us, and he's going to do the same thing this week.
Yeah, he got there without scoring, which is nice. When you pay off your cash and you didn't get the touchdown, and then they didn't increase his price. It's the exact same price as last week. So, and more opportunity. Of course, Jamar Chase is very much in play on the other side of the ball. He's still cheap at 5,400. They're both fully playable in cash.
And you got T.J. Watt. He's out of the game. So there'll be less pressure on Burrow. I think that they're going to –
No, there's never going to be less pressure on Burrow. There's always going to be pressure on Burrow. You could write that down. All right, a couple bucks less, man. What do you think about Odell Beckham Jr., man, making his return probably? Landry?
I don't.
You're out?
GPP maybe, but
man, at only 5,300.
Yeah, he's gonna pop a hand.
I think the roll is going to be a little bit low. He's got a nose for the end zone, so there's an opportunity for him to get there pretty easily. $5,300, but I don't think he's going to play more than like 35 snaps. You could probably figure like 6, 7, 8, 9 targets somewhere in that range. Nothing huge, where people will be playing him as if he's fully healthy and whatnot, and the no Landry thing. But another guy I really like, Jacoby Myers, has a great matchup. 5,000. He'll be shadowed by PJ Williams, who is a sieve. PJ Williams is the worst shadow corner in the NFL, and for some reason New Orleans continues to use him as such. And I'm telling you, Jacoby Myers looks really good, and he's got a good rhythm with Mac Jones, and I really think he's going to be a great play this week as well at 5,000. I probably like Tyler Boyd a little bit more at the price, but if you put both of them in your lineup, you're getting close to that build that we talked about before with Eckler, Saquon, and Kyler Murray up top. So I think this lineup's starting to build itself quite easily, right?
I like it.
Yep. I'll give you a couple of punts. Will Fuller in GPPs, $4,700, making his debut. Brissett is very slow moving, and the ball comes out of his hands slow, but he could throw it deep quite well. So I could see Fuller taking one to the house possibly. And the Giants are really, really bad against secondary receivers. They were last in the NFL in DVOA against wide receiver threes last year, and Olamide Zacchaeus is $3,500. So there's a good punt. And I also, being that you are down on Beckham and Landry is not playing, and Peoples-Jones hasn't done much, I'll take Anthony Schwartz, a couple JPP flyers for $3,200.
May the Schwartz be with you.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. All right. Any other wide receivers you want to talk about before we move on over to the tight end position?
Yeah, I think that's about it. I have too many choices right now. It's gonna be difficult.
Yep. All right. So tight end, Kelsey's always in play. Waller is in a smash spot. Miami's not going to be able to do anything with him. They usually use a Eric Rowe to shadow the tight end, but Waller's not a tight end. He's a wide receiver that just gets that designation. They're not going to be able to handle him. He's gonna have a 15 target game probably. But the guy I really like this week is Hawkinson. If you look at it, Baltimore is right now last against the tight end, but they faced Kelsey and they faced Waller so far. So is it really their fault? Or do you want to just sit here and say that when you have, Baltimore is just bad against really good tight ends and Hawkinson is just next in line. So yeah, he's probably going to be my highest used one, which makes that build in cash a little bit hard at $5,200. But Detroit's a bad team and they have to score some points. And Baltimore showed that they're a sift to the tight end. So I think it's fairly safe to go.
He's got 20 targets in his first two games and 45 points between the two games too. So I think it's a good spot.
Yeah. So he's averaging 4x this price. So we only need to get to 16 points in cash in order to be content and pay it off. So that's pretty easy for me. I'm in on Hawkinson. I mentioned earlier that I also like Kyle Pitts a lot. I haven't messed with him yet over the first 2 weeks, but the Giants are just bad against the tight end. The Giants are just bad defensively, basically. So far in 2 games, 16 receptions, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns against them by tight ends. So if you just average that, that's 8 for 80 and a touchdown. And if I get that from Pitts at only 4,900, that's a smash. You got anybody else like on the tight end front?
Yeah, basically the Jets can't play well against the tight end, so I feel going down a little further, Noah Fant. I think he's a dynamic player. I think he's going to get some extra targets with Judy out, and I think he's in a good spot.
All right, cool. I'd also take a look at Mr. Tyler Higbee. $4,000. Tampa Bay was 25th DVOA against the tight end in 2020 at only $4,000. You only need 12 points to get there, and that's basically, maybe 4 or 5 catches. Don't even need to get in the end zone.
What about going a little cheaper, Jared Cook?
Yeah, there you go. How much is Cook? Do you remember?
$100 cheaper, $39.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to have to look at somebody like this in a flex to finish off the lineup that we were looking for. All right, so before we talk about defense, let's put together the Macho Quattro. So what do we end up with here? What is our core 4 plays for cash lineups this week?
Oh, man, I'm still going back and forth with this quarterback position, but I feel that Tyler Boyd's definitely going to be in there.
Okay. Boyd, we said Saquon and Eckler. So if you want to keep a quarterback in there and not rotate it, then it would have to be Kyler Murray, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't want to use Jones.
Or we could leave the quarterback out and just go with Hawkinson. I think that might be the play. That maybe it's a macho Cinco. Let's go with a Kinko Cinco this week, right? So that's how you build your team this week in cash on DraftKings. Is you start with Kyler Murray, you go with Saquon and Eckler, you use Hawkinson and you use Boyd, and you're good to go. And you'll be able to get one more high-end wide receiver on top of that, right?
I don't even think you need a high-end wide receiver. So,
well, you'll be able to afford it with what we're doing, right? Yeah. All right. Have you looked at defense at all, or you just don't care about that?
Obviously I'm not going to take a high-end defense. I'm looking in the middle more. So I was probably looking like either the Browns or maybe the Raiders.
Yeah, I like the Browns against a rookie quarterback. I mean, I would take a risk on Fields in some spots, but against them in others with the defense. And who'd you say, the Raiders?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Dolphins' offensive line is absolutely putrid. It's disgusting. They put Tua on IR single-handedly, and like I said, Brissett is just very slow moving in absolutely everything that he does. So he's going to take sacks. He's going to throw interceptions. It's definitely there. I would also take a look at Arizona against Jacksonville. They've been putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So, I think Mr. TL is going to be running for his life quite a bit. But on a little bit of a higher note, it just feels like a good spot for Buffalo to have a letdown. I don't get it, man. They're not as good as they look, and Washington, their defense is better than they've looked. So I just think it's kind of a get right spot for them. At 2,600, I'm going to take a couple of risks there. I usually like to have a couple of $2,000 defenses myself.
All right. If it means going down cheaper for the defense to get the players in for the cash, I'm all for it.
Yeah, when you get to $2,600, you're really just looking for them not get blown out and catch like maybe one. You pay cash off with one turnover and 2 or 3 sacks. That's all you need. $2,600, get me 6 points, man, and I'm good. Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Anything else you want to run over? Any players we might have missed that's on your playbook this week?
I just have a lot of decisions to make. I have like so many guys I like, especially after talking with you. I have more guys now. It's gonna be difficult, but yeah, I'm gonna try to keep my guys straight on the single entry cash games. That's what you guys want to target, and you want single entry GPPs as well, unless you're playing for a Millie Maker. I'm trying not to go to work on Monday, so I'm going for the Millie Maker too. But
oh man, I'd give 2 weeks notice.
$1
million, no 2 weeks notice, really?
No, I'm going full time on the stack attack. Let's go. Let's get some.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. That's all I got for today. Let's get the heck out of here. I'm at JTrella20. This guy over here, I pointed the right way the first time. Nice.
Yeah.
At AMAC22NJ. Trevor, take us on out of here. Thanks for all you do. Peace, guys.
Later.